We are the ones who don't know what we're fighting for. Give us a gun and send us all off to war. We are the ones who grow up in violent homes. We are the ones who don't know what's right or wrong. I know. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who were born into war. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who just don't give a fuck no more. No more. We are the ones who don't know why we're losing score. Give them a badge so they could send us to the morgue. Yeah, we are the ones who are scared to walk out the door. We are the ones who don't know what we're dying for. I know. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who were born into war. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who just don't give a fuck now. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who were born into war. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who just don't give a fuck no more. No. Get off his fucking neck. Let me shoot you. He can't fucking breathe. So let me shoot you. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who were born into war. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who just don't give a fuck now. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who were born into war. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who just don't give a fuck no more. No.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the latest episode of I'm No Joe, your home for all things combat sports and the place where every armchair quarterback can feel like Eddie Bravo. The views and opinions presented on the I'm No Joe channel belong solely to the person expressing them, no one else. If we say it, that means we meant it. That being said, this show does contain adult themes, adult content, and general shit that you shouldn't be letting your kids intake. Be advised, viewer discretion is recommended. Proceed at your own risk. You've been warned. If it's Thursday, it's I'm No Joe. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of appropriate ages, to the latest episode of the I'm No Joe podcast, a show where every armchair quarterback can feel like Eddie Bravo. See, words don't even start out right easy. I am your host with the most, the meter, here, joined by my panel of glory to get into all these shit talking and shenaniganry, the fight announcements and the fuckery that has fallen down the MMA pipeline since we saw you wonderful folks last. But before we get into all that wonderfulness, first off, how the hell are you doing over there, gentlemen?
Doing fan-fucking-tastic. We got a decent paid-per-view this weekend. I'll say it's decent because just like everything else that's been going on, they've had so much shakeup over there. I'm surprised they're keeping this one together as well as they are.
Yeah, no shit.
I'm doing pretty fucking good. Tired as hell from work. I'm glad I kept myself awake though, so I could talk about the fights this weekend with you boys.
Hell yeah.
I'm excited for it for sure.
Hell yeah. Good deal. So before we get into all things M.S.G, start things off around here like we do around here most of the time with a little bit of news and recent events, the fight announcements, the rumors that have been confirmed, and all the crazy shit that's happened in the MMA world since we saw you folks last that I feel is most relevant right now. Now, of course, as is always the case, the stories that aren't necessarily important enough to make it onto the show here, you can generally find on the I'm No Joe Discord channel, which is drop the link down in the little scroller bar as well as in the description over there. Feel free to join, hop over there and catch all of the news, whether it's fit for broadcast or not. That being said, start out as we have to, unfortunately, more often than not lately, with a little bit of news that ties us back to last weekend. We talked about it. There was a hell of a shake up on last weekend's card, and it rippled all the way through directly to the actual card itself down in Sao Paulo. We start off with a trio of, oh my fucking God, weight misses. Not a pound, not 2 pounds. We had 3 different fighters who all missed weight by more than 4 fucking pounds. Victor Hugo missed, and his fight was, Hugo and Henry. Hugo missed weight by 4.8 pounds. The Hugo Henry fight was officially scratched. Ismael Bonfim versus Vincent Pichel. Ismael Bonfim missed by 4.9 pounds. And so Vince Pichel said, I'm not going to give him the opportunity to make money by fighting since he clearly doesn't take this serious. And he canceled the fight. Good on Vince fucking Pichel. And then we got the third one, the only one of the 3 weight missers who was actually allowed to continue, Eduarda, and she just walked fucking through Montserrat, kind of like everyone assumed she was going to with the weight miss. It definitely fucking showed. So weight miss, the big story of UFC Sao Paulo, just shook the card up all the way across the board, but it wasn't done there because literally as walkouts were about to start, Armen Petrosyan gets sick backstage. They end up having to take him to the hospital, and the Petrosyan fight is completely off as the card is happening. So we just could not catch a break for Sao Paulo, literally all the way up to and including while the card was actively taking place. So hopefully Armen Petrosyan gets better and the rest of those asshats get their shit together and figure out that you're a professional fighter. That means you have to make the set weight that you signed up for, motherfucker. That is literally 1/2 of your fucking job. So get your shit together, please. Thank you. That being said, proof is in the pudding here. If you do, in fact, get your shit together, it can be very beneficial for you because we found out on just 4 days' notice, the UFC has called up Roosevelt Roberts and re-signed him to the promotion to take a short notice fight at M.S.G this weekend. Whether that fight plays out for him or not, we will find out Saturday. But the fact is, he got cut from the organization for going 3-4 and on short notice got brought back for a pay-per-view card. So if you get your shit together after you fuck up, you absolutely can get back to the UFC. Just because you fuck up don't mean it's the end, but you have to get your shit together. We'll see how well Roberts has it together a little bit more when we get to Saturday. That being said, it is the season of the injury bug, as has been demonstrated by the last several cards that we have talked about, and it even is affecting things over on the other side of the combat sports house. We got confirmation just this afternoon. Julia Budd is officially out, and the luckiest of lucky fucking streaks has continued because stepping in to take on Kayla Harrison during the PFL Night of Champions, November 24th, at a catch weight of 150 pounds, which should be easy for her to make. none other than ex-UFC vet Aspen Ladd, again being gifted the most opportune opportunity she can over in PFL. So if she squanders this one, this very well could genuinely be the end of her MMA career, because she has shit the bed gloriously every time they've tried to give her an opportunity up until now. And this is quite literally the biggest one that she could probably get. If she fucks this one up, I think she's going to end up in LFA forever. So we'll see how that plays out. That being said, I'm still pretty sure Kayla's going to steamroll her with ease, but Aspen's getting yet another opportunity. So we'll see what happens as that one plays out. Excuse me. We got confirmation. UFC Shanghai is going down December 9th, and it now has an official main event. Maybe not the best, but it apparently is what they could make on 4.5 weeks notice. We will see Song Yadong stepping back into the octagon to take on Chris Gutierrez in that UFC Shanghai main event. As of right now, no co-main event has been announced. Hopefully it's a good one, because I love Song Yadong, and Chris Gutierrez has definitely been putting together a notable run, but that fight has no place being a main event, especially one as big as Shanghai could potentially be. So we'll see how that plays out. I know pretty much everybody following the UFC storyline was really hoping that they were going to announce Zhang Weili versus Yan Xiaonan as the ladies strawweight title fight for that Shanghai card. Just doesn't seem that one's going to play out that way. We might, there is still a very, very slim chance we might get that announced as the co-main event, but to put that title fight as the co-main in Shanghai under just a regular Song Yadong versus Gutierrez main event would feel really, really insulting to both of those ladies and the ladies division in general. I don't think the UFC is quite that stupid at this point. It wouldn't surprise me, but I don't think they're quite to that point just yet. So I'm curious what they're going to throw as a co-main event to kind of help beef that card up, seeing as how we're just a couple weeks out and they just threw that together in the last week, literally. Speaking of things that have been thrown together in the last week, though, Dana White took the opportunity to go ahead and kick off the announcements for the first 3 pay-per-views of UFC's 2024 calendar. They will be UFC 297 in Toronto, Sean Strickland versus Dricus du Plessis as your main event. And then they have got Raquel Pennington versus Mayra Buena Silva for the ladies bantamweight as the co-main event in Toronto. Better than nothing. You're getting 2 title fights. What fights they may be, we'll see.
I'm so pissed about that one. Yes,
yeah.
Give Rocky the shot. Do not give the one who popped hot a fucking
just
shot.
Literally got suspended. Yeah, no, that was
not acceptable.
Like, at this point, I honestly would have rather of them gave Holly Holm that opportunity than to give fucking Buena Silva, coming off of an active fucking suspension right now. She can't fight until this card's coming up, literally the week before. I hope
that Rocky beats the ever-living shit out of her to where she's deformed and can't fight again. Because that shit's not acceptable. And it's not that I wish ill on that fucking fighter, because what she popped hot for was not a fucking performance-enhancing drug.
No, it was her own stupidity.
It was her own stupidity, but still, you don't reward somebody with stupidity a title shot.
Correct.
Just not acceptable. So poorly ran fucking
that's how you get a Holly Holm.
Exactly.
Mom said we already have Holly Holm at home.
Then we get Mayra Buena Silva. Awesome.
Right. But so we've got Strickland versus DDP, and then MBS versus Rocky for UFC 297 in Toronto in January. February, I believe they said it's February 17th. Still no actual location announced yet. UFC 298 will be headlined by Volkanovski versus Ilia Topuria. So they are going to give him a little more time, which he clearly fucking needs, which makes me happy. Definitely the fight to make, but not if you're going to rush Volk into it. So February is still a little soon, but it's better. I think we have a better chance of seeing the fight that it should be in February. And then starting off the March pay-per-view at 299 will be none other than Sugar Sean O'Malley in his first title defense against Chito fucking Vera. They are running it back for the strap. So the first 3 title fights, or the first 3 pay-per-views of UFC's 2024 calendar year, have a title fight on every one of those cards at
Let's
least.
go,
So
Cheeto.
the men's bantamweight division can get very interesting very quickly if Cheeto does what Cheeto should be able to do in March. So I'm hoping I get a very nice birthday present of Cheeto showing me that shiny belt that he won.
Yes, please. Sign me up for that. I'm on that birthday train.
Fuck yeah. So from there, we got kind of the news that it's one of those things that it had been rumored for a couple of weeks now. Well, it is official. We don't like to talk about rumors too much just because of how crazy things can sway in the MMA world. Ink has been put to paper. The deal is officially confirmed. Jorge Masvidal has officially pled guilty to misdemeanor battery on Colby Covington and will be issued no jail time, just fines and time served. Oh, it's going to be very interesting to see where that gets us, because Jorge said he wants another shot at Colby. So is he going to unretire and come back to the UFC for another fight that he doesn't deserve against a guy that's ranked way higher than he is? Or is he just going to try and jump him in front of another steakhouse in Miami again? There's no fucking telling with George.
I'm leaning more towards the steakhouse in Miami bit, which I'm perfectly all right with. Beat his ass in the streets, because you don't need a referee to deal with fucking that kind of shit.
Snitches get stitches, and he bragged about snitching, so fuck that guy. That's all I
Yep.
gotta say. But
Also, cocksucker who's getting something he doesn't deserve.
right, yeah, no shit. But that being said, we did get a pair of goodbyes this afternoon. The first one, Rafael Manifio, tied to the Nathan Schultz partner situation in PFL. Friends, partners said that they didn't want to fight each other. PFL basically made them. The fight sucked. And then PFL suspended both of them, took them out of the playoffs, and put Shane Burgos in, who subsequently lost in the first round of the playoffs anyways. It was a big hubbub. It was a big to-do. It should not have played out the way that it did, but even in playing out that way, it should not have been handled the way that it was handled by PFL. And Manifio has officially left the PFL. He has to be released from his contract, got released. He is going to go find another organization, and I can't say that I blame him. Not that he gave them much reason to keep him around, but at this point, if you were very open about how that's going to work, or how that wasn't going to work, rather, and they understood that and then still tried to put you in that position, I don't blame you a bit for leaving. This is very similar to the Aljo and Marab situation, where they made it very clear early on they had no intentions to fight each other. The difference here, Dana White wasn't going to force them to, where PFL quite literally threw Manifio and Schultz into the cage, and it sucked. So I don't blame him one bit for fucking leaving. The problem is now he's leaving, and that's the last thing everyone has to see of him as an audition tape, so to speak. So good luck finding a new place. I feel like it's probably going to be a step down, but we'll see how that shakes loose. On the other side of things here, the UFC has officially released one-time title contender Tayla Santos from her contract and sent her on down the road, despite the uproar of uncontrollable fucking hype that the UFC tried so hard and so many times to heap on Tayla Santos. She inevitably just could not cross the line into championship, and the UFC has apparently decided they waited long enough for her to get her shit together and have sent her down the road, releasing her from her contract, which is a little bit telling given the state of the ladies' side of the UFC right now. For them to be releasing active women from contracts, title contenders at that, oh boy. Now, on the other side of things here, ONE FC just made headlines around the world for signing Johan Jojo Ghazali, their 16-year-old, unbelievably fucking talented star. This is essentially what Dana White was trying to do with Raul Rosas Jr., only Ghazali is actually 16 and actually very good in more than just jiu-jitsu. So it's going to be very interesting. He will be making his debut on ONE Fight Night number 17 on December 8th. it is going to be very interesting to see how this young man's career goes forward and see how the ONE FC side of things handles younger talent like this, as opposed to how the UFC is running with a lot of their younger guys, because there are a lot of younger guys on the UFC side of things now with the Contender Series coming along. So it's going to be interesting to see how Chatri handles the 16-year-old. And if he fights over there under that one banner, anything like he has done in his fucking short pro-am career, the kid could be something real fucking hot. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out, how they match make for him. And obviously they're going to give him his debut on a fucking Amazon Prime Fight Night card. So they're not going to keep him shy. It'll be interesting to see how this one rolls through. That being said, unfortunately, this week I end the news like I have ended most weeks in 2023, reminding everyone that once again, we have made it another week where Dana White has managed to skate any real world consequences for openly slapping his wife multiple times down in Cabo on New Year's Eve. And no, Dana White, despite how many times you might try and say it, having to live with the knowledge that the events happen is not adequate punishment. You're going to get yours, motherfucker. That being said, either one of you gentlemen have anything in the news I might have missed this week?
Nothing that's noteworthy. The only thing I've seen is rumors. So rumors are not anything we're going to talk about.
Yeah, that's about it here as well. There were lots of rumors that are tempting, but better to wait until those lines get dotted, T's get crossed, and I's and all that.
Yeah, all good on my end too.
Good deal. Well, that being said, then, that will bring us to the point where if you've been watching MMA or combat sports in general, as long as some of us have been, inevitably you develop a set of blinders, so to speak. You start to learn what you like to watch, when it comes on, how to watch it, and you inevitably lose the forest for the tree, as it were, or vice versa. Luckily for us old heads here on the show, though, we have ourselves a bona fide young person who can get right out there and just finger the pulse of the combat sports world and keep us abreast of all the names that are going to be names before they are names in a little segment that we call Slows, Cans, and Contenders.
Appreciate you, brother. So this weekend, I actually felt like there's very few cans. I don't know how you boys will feel about it, but I'll give you the opportunity. I like TJ's face. I just don't like some of the fights, right? I feel like it's a decent card. You know, the cans that I do have, I kind of want to lump the fight together. That Dennis Bazooka versus Jamal Emmers. You know, that fight in general is one of them I'm less excited about. It's mainly because Bazooka lost his debut to Sean Woodson. He just didn't look that great. Emmers, you know, he's been back and forth in the UFC and shit, so I'm definitely throwing him in the can. Could lump the fight in there. I got Jared Gordon. He's just, you know, he's been back and forth through his career. I like the dude. I like his story. He's an okay fighter, but, you know, that's literally that. He's one of those dudes. He's just like the journeyman fighter. He's got some good skill. He's a tough guy, but he's lost his past couple fights. I know it was a no contest against Bobby Green, but he didn't look good before he got headbutted and shit. So don't know how good he's going to look this weekend. Mark Madsen, you know, was undefeated before losing to Grant Dawson. That dude's probably going to be wanting to fucking come back strong. He's getting older, you know, still wanting to do something towards the end of his career. So I'm going to throw Gordon in the can this weekend. Andrade is on the fence for me. Like Jessica Andrade, I can't deny, like, you have to give her respect. This is going to be her 5th fight this year. And she's a female fighter. Like, that's fucking, like, give her the respect of that as well. For a female, you're doing something a lot of female fighters don't tend to do. They don't fight as often as male fighters, I feel. You know, we don't see them as often, especially those bigger stars.
Well, and on top of that, she hasn't none of those fights that she has had have been in the same weight class 2 fights in a row. She has literally bounced weight classes every single time she has fought. So she might not be the best in the world, but goddamn if she ain't fucking active and not afraid to take a fight in literally any weight class they offer her. So there's something to it.
Yeah, that's what I had to put out there. Like, she's lost 3 in a row because of that. Like, fighting so often this year, maybe this hasn't been such a good thing for her. But at the same time, you got to just give her the respect for that. I wanted to throw that out there. This is where it's on the fifth. If she loses again here to Mackenzie Dern's, probably, yeah, you're just leaning towards maybe she's on the back end of her career, but she definitely probably just needs to take a little bit of time. Just, like give yourself some rest, really look into yourself, see what you can really grow on into the sense of your MMA aspect. I don't know. A lot of fighters, that's really why they take a little bit of time off. They try to work on something, try to learn some new shit. But Roosevelt Roberts, he's the other guy I wanted to throw in the can, and it's really just because of the fact he already had his opportunity in the UFC, didn't do so hot, and then he just got his second chance technically this season on that fucking Ultimate Fighter, and he didn't do so hot there either. Uh, just you gotta be honest. The brother's probably gonna get smoked this weekend. Matusha Rebecki has looked. I'm not pronouncing it right. I know, but that's the best way I can pronounce it in English. Rebecki is how it looks like you would pronounce it, but I know it's fucked. But the guy looks amazing. He looks like a tough son of a bitch. He got a nice finish in his last fight. I'm excited about that guy. Definitely throwing him in the contender spot on the opposite end. I think he's going to run through Roberts, especially on the short notice aspect. Roberts doesn't stand a chance, in my opinion. Good on him, I guess, getting your third chance. Like UFC re-signed you again. You're going to be on a pay-per-view spot, even if it's in the prelims. Maybe you're making some money. Props to that. But I just I'm throwing Roberts in the can. And like I said, I got Rebecki on the contender spot. He's one I'm looking forward to. And a couple of fights I'm lumping in the contender spot. Ladies fight, Tabitha Ricci versus Lupi Godinez. I think both of those ladies are exciting. I mean, they don't have a ton of finishes in the stats aspect, but they're both tough. They've looked pretty damn good as of late. Tabitha Ricci subbing Jillian Robertson in her last fight. That's pretty damn good in my eyes. Robertson's one of the best submission specialists in the entire MMA sphere in ladies MMA. And Godinez is just tough as fuck. Always goes out there, throws the fuck down. I think this could be a really exciting fight. So throwing it in the contender spot. And then I also got a Diego Lopez versus Pat Sabatini, a fight I'm lumping in there. It's because I've always liked Pat Sabatini. He's been a little back and forth as of late, but he won his last fight, looked pretty good. Definitely feel like this Lopez kid is a prospect to look out for. He's been exciting as fuck since he came in. He gave Movsar Evloev a real tough fucking fight in his debut, and then won a second fight in the UFC like it was nothing. So they give him a mid-level guy. He goes through him like it's nothing. Now he gets a little bit more of a test this weekend, and Pat Sabatini, I think, is going to be a real exciting fight as well. And then Benoit Saint Denis. I think you could maybe lump that fight in there. I love Matt Frevola. He's one of those exciting guys. He's in Madison Square Garden. It's kind of his hometown, right? So he's going to have the crowd behind him and shit, potentially. He got the knockout in New York last year, I think. So who knows? I don't think he's knocking out Benoit Saint Denis, but I do think that fight's going to be exciting. I'm just leaning more on Saint Denis as that prospect. The kid's 12-1. All of his wins come by finish. Just 27 years old, so looked pretty damn good. The only loss was his debut against Zaleski dos Santos. So we'll see. I think the fight's going to be exciting. You could lump that in there. And then Tommy Aspinall. This is the last one I got on the contender spot. It's probably going to be pretty fucking tough for him this weekend. Maybe the toughest fight of his career, going against fucking Ivan Drago of MMA and Sergey Pavlovich. That dude's one scary motherfucker. 15 finishes by knockout. I wouldn't want to fight him, but I think Tommy's actually got the ability to go against this guy, if anybody. He's extremely young, athletic. He's shown he's got incredible power, can knock people out no different, and he's got the grappling, wrestling, submission ability at heavyweight. So it's going to be an interesting fight for sure. But if Tommy beats his ass, he's got to be a contender. Next one in line, they want to do the Jones Stipe fight still, but he's got to be the next one up after that. I'd love to hear what you boys got for this weekend. Who's your cans and contenders?
All right, let me jump on this because you said you didn't have a lot of cans. You had a lot more fucking cans than you were talking about having.
I have 4.
It was way more than you were talking about having. That's all you said. I don't see any cans on here, and then fucking here we are, 4 or 5, and then let's throw a whole fight in there together. So I will say across the board, I do fucking agree with you on the cans. There is one failure that I think you left out when you were talking about cans, and not assimilating this person with another person that is in the UFC. That would be Jessica Andrade. She has become the new Angela Hill. She's on a 3-fight fucking skid. Regardless of whether they were in the same weight class or not, she's fought in both of those weight classes before, so it's nothing fucking new to her. How is she still ranked number 5 in the fucking strawweight division? I don't fucking know. She should be like number 12 at best. Like, they're gifting her a 5. Why? She was getting beaten by unranked fucking opponents. Trash. Angela fucking Hill, Brazilian style. That's it. I'm done with Jessica Andrade. Yes, she had her moment in the sun. She got to the title once. She's not getting back there again. She's past her prime at this point. Let that horse go out to pasture and just call it a day. The downside to this is there's another can across the fucking octagon in Mackenzie Dern. However, actually, I will save that comment for when we are done because that's not appropriate for here. But either way, this fight is a no-win because either Jessica Andrade is going to get right back into title talks if she beats the brakes off of Mackenzie Dern, and then Mackenzie Dern fucking subs her, which is probably what's going to happen. They're going to be praising Mackenzie Dern again, even though she fucking had a loss in there as well in her last 3. She's two wins in her last 3. But that fight as a whole, not people's co-main event fucking to me. People's co-main event, in my opinion, Matt Frevola, and Benoit Saint-Denis. Benoit Saint-Denis is the only Frenchman that I would not call a pussy. The only actual Frenchman. I don't count fucking guys like fucking... Well, I guess Cyril Gane would fall in that category too. So there's very few of them. But most French people, I would just call pussies. Anti-war, that's why the U.S. had to come in and save them. That's why there's a whole beach that they have dedicated to the U.S. there. I'm just saying. Strange things happen here. Benoit Saint-Denis is bringing the masculinity back to France. Thank God. But he's got a tough road ahead of him. So as far as that, definitely a contender's fight for the both of them. And I will agree here with your contender of Diego Lopez. Didn't look bad his first fight, looked great his second fight. He's got a lot of potential. And they're gifting him a good fight in Pat Sabatini. The problem with the fight that I see is Pat Sabatini has been either hot or cold lately. So depending on which Pat Sabatini he gets, he might be in for a long night, or he might be in for a long night. Because even with a bad night, I think Pat Sabatini still gets him just purely on the crafty old veteran aspect of it. But we'll see. The other one that I want to scrap from the fucking card, Steve Erceg and Alessandro Costa. Fuck both of those cocksuckers. Neither one of them are worth a shit. How they got the premier prelim spot over Tabitha Ricci and Lupi Godinez, I don't fucking know. but that shouldn't be the case. So here we are again. And of course, fuck Roosevelt Roberts. That dude, you fucked it the first time you were there. You fucked it in the goddamn tough house. Get the fuck out. Why do we bring up this old shit? You can dig up an old piece of shit and it's still a piece of shit. It doesn't change because it's been buried and not looked at for a while. It is still a piece of shit. It may have even decomposed a little. Don't bring it back out. It's not going to change. It's not going to be a golden egg. It's not like that fucker got laid out of the golden goose. That's what I'm saying. Matus Rebecki's going to fuck him up, and I can't wait to watch that Pollock beat the brakes off of him. So that way they send him packing once again. Yeah, I have some very strong opinions on this card. So, but yeah, we'll leave it at that. So now you kind of know where my hatred lies and ones that I think are going to do well. There's some others in there that I'm not going to mention just because, we like to keep some stuff in our pocket for later.
So I will say I agree with both of the calls that both of you gentlemen have made for the most part. I don't understand why they made Marco Madsen versus Jared Gordon to begin with. Jared Gordon does not have any fucking cards in his hand to play against the UFC, and Marco Madsen is going to gas out after 3 minutes. We know it because he does every single fucking time he gets in there. How an Olympic wrestler turned into a dude with that short of a gas tank, I don't fucking know, but unfortunately, they managed to get on the early premier prelim slot some fucking how. So that's complete fucking stupidity. I absolutely agree. The fact that fucking Baby Shark and Loopy have to fight not in that premier prelim on the actual prelims because of Usyk and fucking Costa, that's one of the dumbest fucking things the UFC has done in a long goddamn time. That was just fucking low-hanging fruit waiting to be picked, and the UFC just turned their fucking head the other direction. As far as cans on this card go, there is one glaring one that I just don't understand, again, how the fuck it made it onto this card to begin with. Slava Claus. He has not done a goddamn thing worth fucking getting a spot on a pay-per-view card for the UFC. Another definition of hot and cold coming out of the fucking Contender Series. And yet here he is on the fucking prelims for the fucking M.S.G card on pay-per-view. Fucking stupid. Makes no goddamn sense. I hope Naim Sadykhov comes in and just beats the dog shit out of that stupid fucker and then does that stupid fucking dance in the ring just to show him. I will say I do agree there's no fucking reason they should have brought Roosevelt Roberts back, especially on a short notice. I really, really hope that Jim Miller is sitting fucking cage side so when Roosevelt walks out, he can just go. But I will say the contender I'm calling here. I'm calling it the whole fight because both of these gentlemen have the potential to put on a great matchup. And I feel like both of them are kind of due for their moment. And that's John Castaneda versus Kyung Ho Kang. Kyung Ho Kang is one of those dudes. He's allergic to boring fights. He breaks out fucking punches and just always keeps things interesting. And Castaneda is one of those dudes we have really only seen a little bit of what he is capable of. He's one of those dudes that if you ask other fighters, he's a fucking gym monster. So they're both kind of due for their real good performance, and on the pay-per-view at M.S.G on the prelims, not a bad fucking spot to do it, in my opinion.
Good shit. I totally fucking agree. Appreciate you boys. That's all I got for this weekend.
Good shit. Thank you very much, sir. So that being said, that'll bring us to the point where in most podcasts, you would get some bullshit B-roll footage of a company that doesn't have anything to do with the fucking podcast or something that nobody of the people on the podcast actually use. And we don't fucking play like that around here. The I'm No Joe podcast is sponsored by viewers like you. Patreon.com/I'mNoJoe. For as little as $1 a month, you can get your name as a thank you on the end of every broadcast on this channel, as well as access to unaired and literally unairable content that we only put up for the Patreon fans. If you got that dollar, as little as $1 can get you on there. If you don't, no big deal. We do this every Thursday, pretty much live, 9:30-ish Central Standard here on YouTube. And then the week later, it goes up on anchor.fm/I'mNoJoe in the all audio format for your podcast consumption of choice, all for free. So either way, we appreciate you sticking around. That being said, though, this is the only segment of our show that requires its own individual disclaimer. So, Tapology.com does not in any way, shape, or form support, sponsor, or endorse the I'm No Joe podcast. Yet. That being said, Tapology does offer you the option to go on their site, create a free account, and make fantasy-style picks about fights. They even let you make groups on there. So we did just that. We created one called I'm No Bookie or Group 965. However you need to search it. It is open to the public. You are more than welcome to make yourself an account, join the group, and let us know who the fuck you are so we can hold you accountable for your wins or losses in a little thing that we call Tapology with TJ.
All right, let's bang right into this because I'm honestly fucking excited to talk about our last fucking set of picks. And not for the reason you might think. And actually, those of you that have been listening long enough during this segment will understand once it comes out of my mouth why I'm so fucking excited about this. So we had UFC Fight Night, Almeida versus Lewis. Weird fuckery in the cards, multiple weight misses, fucking people getting sick in the back, a draw during that fucking card. So that was a pick that everybody made, didn't get any fucking credit for it. Because, you know, they don't give you the option to choose draw when you're making your picks, because no fucking reasonable idiot would do that. So we're going to start with the surprise of everybody. Actually, no, kidding. Not the surprise of everybody. As is our norm, and pretty regularly, everyone who made picks picked 500 or better. So we're above that 500 mark overall as a group. Well done, boys. Now, we're going to start from the bottom up this week because, like I said, there's something important to talk about here. Strange shit happens, weird things you look at, and things don't always work out the way you think they should. So some people decide they're going to pull the dick out and run it over with the steamroller. This week, it was the fucking meter. He hit that 500 mark, but goddamn it, I did not think you were going to hit it, dude. I am not going to lie. Watching those roll through and checking the fights as they were going, I was like, ooh, he's on the cusp here.
It was close. I was worried I was going to hit 500 for a minute there because it was looking like everything I thought was going to happen played out the exact fucking opposite, or the fight just got knocked the fuck off to begin with.
I don't know, because I started off hot to trot, and I was like, all right, she's going well. The fucking, I was like, obviously we had vastly different opinions on this one. Now, here's where it's exciting to me. Finally, somebody pulled out the fucking tire pump, inflated their dick that they've ran over with the steamroller about 10,000 times, slapped all the dust off of it from playing double dutch, and gets a win. Don takes the dub this week for everybody. So fucking proud of him for taking the dub on this one. So many weeks on the bottom. Always below the misses. Always doing dishes at home. No dishes for this man. No dishes. Cheers to you, Don. Fucking excited for that one. Also, fuck you because you did squeak me out because you got a couple of fucking more decision pick, or was it decision? No, he got one perfect pick over me, and that's what made the fucking difference. Otherwise, I would have had that top spot. Beat me by 35 points. Motherfucker, but you know what? If there's somebody I'm willing to take the second place to in this case, it's got to be you, because I know you trip over your dick way more often than I do, so it's perfectly all right. Congratulations, my friend. Now, that's all I've got for this week. Everybody else, somewhere in the middle there. Everybody above the 500 mark, like I said, as a group, we do fantastic. If you want to join the group, please do. Let us know who you are. We will talk shit about you when you trip over your dick or your vagina lips if you have those, or whatever else you have if you're an it. I'm not sure, but we'll talk shit about you, and we'll also praise you when you do well, as is the case here with Don, because, you know, even the sun shines on a dog's ass every once in a while. That's just how that works. But join that group. It's I'm No Bookie, group 965 over on Tapology. If you can't figure it out, message us. We will gladly walk you through how to sign up. Nice guys like that. Now, moving on to this week and some wonderful stuff for this UFC 295 Prochazka versus Pereira co-main event, Aspinall and Pavlovich. What a fucking wild card we have got going on this weekend. I'm 100% in for this fucker. Oh, I'm looking at, what are we, 3 days? We're 3 days out right now. I guess if we count today, technically 2, because today's almost over, but whatever. You get the gist. Overall, surprisingly enough, the fucking odds on this card are not quite as crazy as you would think they would be for some of the fights that they've thrown in here. For the most part, everything is 50-50 splits. What's funny is I did do a little checking before the fucking Jones and Miocic fight got canceled off of this. And I say got canceled. Well, there was no other way. Before Jones got injured, before he blew his fucking pec off his goddamn bone. I looked at their odds coming into that. They had Jones as a minus 375 over a plus 290 Miocic. However, that very well could have changed as it got closer, but that's what it was before the injury occurred. So, let's talk about what's actually in play here. And I'm really only going to cover the main and co-main because everything else is pretty much coin flips across the board. We don't have any crazy ones. No, I take that back. There is one crazy one. We'll start with that. Matus Rebecki and Roosevelt Roberts. They have Matus Rebecki coming in as a minus 650 favorite over a plus 500 Roosevelt Roberts, as they should. A shit can does not deserve to get any credit here. Now, if you're one of those wild fuckers who likes to throw away money with the possibility of hitting a jackpot, maybe it's time to bet on Roosevelt Roberts, but I'm going to tell you, don't do it. It's not in your best interest. Do not drop $1,000 on him because you're going to be out $1,000. But if that does hit, you can be fucking way richer really fucking quick. But hey, I'm not here to tell you how to bet. I'm just telling you it's a bad fucking idea. Like I said, everything else pretty much a coin flip across the board. That was the one I almost forgot about, and I say almost until I caught myself. Otherwise, you're looking at coin flips across the board, and then the main and co-main are pretty similar in coin flips, but because it is the main and co-main, I will talk about them because, well, it's kind of a necessity. As far as the co-main, we'll start with Sergey Pavlovich and Tom Aspinall. The epitome of a coin flip for the odds makers. Minus 115 for Tom Aspinall. Minus 105 for Sergey Pavlovich. So there's literally a 10-point spread, and they're both calling them in favor. So it's a literal fucking coin flip. 10-point spread is not shit. Moving on to the main event in Alex Pereira and Yuri Prochazka. They've got Prochazka, surprisingly enough, coming in as an underdog at a plus 105 over an Alex Pereira, or under an Alex Pereira of a minus 125 favorite. So still a fucking coin flip. They're coin flip odds. You're not going to make money on any of those fights. The only way you're going to fucking make money this week is if you do parlays. And parlays, you better have all of the picks right, otherwise you get shit. You want to make a decent parlay to make some money, you're going to need like a 4 or 5 fight parlay to make any decent money this week because almost everything is fucking coin flips. The other widest odd that I found on the card was Benoit Saint-Denis and Matt Frevola. That Benoit Saint-Denis coming in as a minus 225 favorite over a plus 185 in Matt Frevola, which is another coin flip, to be honest. It's not a big enough gap there. And now, granted, these odds may change as the fight gets closer in the next day or two, depending on how people look at weigh-ins and stuff like that, because the odds makers will change them last minute for stuff like that. But due to any unforeseen circumstances, I don't see them going any crazier, left or right, up, down. You're looking at coin flips, so make your parlays. one of those weeks where you either have to tip your cap to the fucking goddamn UFC and their matchmaking skills. Maybe it's the new guy they hired. Maybe he's the one who's making this fucking work. And I'm not mad at it if he is. Maybe it's just the odds makers. Again, not trusting the people doing bullshit betting. But we do have one crazy odd on there, and I say crazy, but it's not really crazy because it's pretty fucking legitimate. Roosevelt Roberts doesn't belong in the UFC. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, that's what we got this week. Again, if you have not joined, please do join us over on Tapology. I'm no bookie. Group 965. Anyone can join. Let us know who you are if you want to get talked about. If you don't want to get talked about and just want to join, join. I won't know who the fuck you are, and I won't really fucking care. But if you do want us to know who you are, I will gladly follow to see where you're at and how shitty or how great you do. Hopefully great. Because we could use a little more just a little more diversity in picks, because sometimes our picks are all the same. And it looks like we've been cheating off of each other's homework when we live in the same home as our brother. Not mentioning any fucking names, but you know who you are. So yeah, give us a join. And we'll be back next week to talk about all of these fucking wonderful things that happen next week.
Good shit. Thank you very much, sir. Much appreciated. So, if you've been watching the show for a while, you will know that this is a pay-per-view card. And if you are watching us live on YouTube, you will know by the terrifying GIF that has rolled across the screen that this is the point in the show where we slow things down a little bit. We dial back the friendliness and we crank up the competition. This is the point where we take things head to head in a little thing we like to call the pit. Now, unfortunately, we had a series of dropouts over the last couple of pay-per-view cards, so we decided to keep this one in-house and not fucking risk it. So this evening, we are going to ask our brother Christian to put his judge's hat on, and Golfy and I are going head to fucking head for what should have been the Stipe Jones card, but is now what we've got in M.S.G. So Christian, whenever you are ready, sir, the floor is yours, my good man.
All right, appreciate the opportunity. It's fun when you two get to go against each other. It's where the best matchups happen, right? Yeah, I always love attempting to beat you both, but it's always the close matchups here. This is about to be the 5-round war. So you started off. Let's start off with the shit, and we'll move off to the good stuff. So, in both of your guys' eyes, the first question here, like we always like to ask, what's the what the fuck fight, or the overhyped, most talked about, doesn't fucking deserve to be on this card. We're not interested in it. Which one of you wants to start? I forgot to ask that. Let's figure that out.
Oh, for fuck's sakes. We already have a reffing error. Come on, somebody get the replay official in here. Let's try this over.
We got Hokey Pokey Christian on the duty.
Yeah, I'm sitting here, I'm talking about the question, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's not up to me, in my opinion. Which one of you goes first?
I'll let you call it, TJ. Go wherever you want. You want to go first? Go first. You want to go second? I'll take it. You call it.
Heads on first, tails your second.
Sounds good.
Siri, flip a coin. Fucking heads. I don't know if you can read that.
There we go.
There you go. Apparently I had the fucking... Yep, I had it on mute. That's why. That's why she didn't fucking talk. That's fine. So I guess that means I'm answering first then.
Yes, the floor is yours, sir. What is the shittiest fight or the what the fuck fight in your eyes?
I'm going to avoid the low-hanging fruit and the one that I absolutely thrashed earlier, because we all know that's fucking low-hanging fruit there. But I'm going to go straight to where I think it fucking deserved. Jared Gordon and Mark Madsen. Mark Madsen, the empty gas tank machine, and Jared Gordon on, I think, a 3-fight losing streak. If I'm not mistaken, he's on a 3-fight fucking skid. He's literally fighting for walking papers. How Mark Madsen isn't, I don't fucking know. But this fight as a whole doesn't belong in the spot it's in, let alone on this card. It shouldn't be on a pay-per-view card. This is the, as much as I hate to say it, this is the one you give us next week for a hangover card. It doesn't belong anywhere near a fucking pay-per-view. Neither one of these guys are worth their fucking weight at this point. Don't get me wrong. Madsen, when he first came in, looked like he had some shit going on for him, and then immediately shit the bed. Jared Gordon, in my opinion, never had that look of something's going to go well. So this fight as a whole, get rid of it. Go take a shit. Go ask your fucking girlfriend or wife to jerk you off during that fight, whatever the case may be, but walk the fuck away.
I like it. I like it. It's definitely not, I'll agree. It's not one of the fights I'm the most interested in, for sure. You could definitely fucking just go do something else and waste a little bit of time during that fight. All right, so Meter, what do you got? What's your what the fuck fight or overhyped fight for this weekend's card?
So I've got to say it's a bit of a split bag. It's definitely the least entertaining fight in my opinion of the card, but not because of the fight, but because of where it's placed. And I'm talking about the steamroller himself, Matt Frevola versus Benoit Saint-Denis. I don't think it's a bad fight. I think there is potential for it to be an interesting fight. Not great, but interesting. But the problem is they've got it smack dab in the middle of the fucking main pay-per-view card. And there is no one on this planet who should have to pay $80 to watch Benoit Saint-Denis beat the shit out of Matt Frevola in his own backyard, because that's what's going to happen. Matt Frevola is going to come out and he's going to give it hell, but then Benoit Saint-Denis, who is very much more of a well-rounded fighter than Frevola is going to come in and he's going to do work just like Benoit Saint-Denis does, and then we all get that, oh man, moment when we see Frevola cry as he walks out of the fucking cage.
Definitely a surprising answer, but I definitely liked your fucking explanation. That's for fucking sure. Whenever you threw the names out there, I'm like, okay, let's see where you're going. I like where you took us there, sir. I definitely agree with both of you boys. I like your points. All right, so I'll move us on to the second round because I'm sitting here doing what we've been doing. I'm doing the closed scoring here.
I like the close scoring. It's fucking great.
I'm good with it.
Yeah, it's fun to shit. So yeah, I'll put it up at the end here. We'll see who the fuck wins. So second round, moving on over to Meter to start us off here. We'll flip the fucking script. So we started off on the shit end. Let's start. What's the most fucking exciting? Somebody that's new to MMA. You want to fucking introduce them. You want to get somebody hyped up for this shit. You want to get somebody convinced to join our Tapology group, like the segment we just had with TJ. What fight is the most exciting for you on this card, sir?
So, ironically enough, the one that I'm the most excited about is right before the one that I am least excited about. The one that they are opening the pay-per-view portion of the main card with, Pat Sabatini versus Diego Lopez. The fact that Pat Sabatini is such a great wrestler who developed striking, which is the way we pretty much all unanimously agree is the way to become great in the UFC. And then they're going to put him stylistically against a guy in Diego Lopez, who I didn't know initially. I just recently found out is not just the Spanish Fallout by Fan Club president. He is also one of the highest ranking Brazilian jiu-jitsu coaches on the ladies' side of MMA, coaching such current champions as Alexa Grasso. And from her mouth specifically, he was integral in her getting the victory. So the fact that we have got a power jiu-jitsu guy slowly just quietly rising up the fucking ranks, going up against a power wrestler with striking, and Pat Sabatini, and Tommy, I know you're watching, Pat Sabatini. This fight is fucking spectacular. This is the best fight they could have picked to open the main card, in my opinion. Well worth the money.
Good shit. That's definitely one of the ones I'm most excited about through the fucking Contender Series. I think both boys still have those fucking abilities to move themselves up. Even Pat Sabatini, a little bit older, but he fucking gets a couple good wins. He's really putting himself into a good spot. He's always been an exciting fighter. He's definitely a little bit underhyped too. So moving over to TJ, what's your underhyped fight, your most excited fight for this weekend, the fight you would try to talk somebody into watching with you, get introduced to MMA here?
I'm going to go a little outside of the lines here. I'm not just going to say I want to introduce them to MMA. I want to introduce them to women's MMA. I'm talking about Baby Shark, Tabitha Ricci, and Lupi Godinez. Lupita and fucking Baby Shark. There is something about that. I will say the chances of their being finished are not great. Neither one of them are finishers. However, both of them will go 110%. I've yet to see a boring fight out of both of them. Loopy has come in on short notice on multiple occasions and fucking did work, winning fights that she had no business winning. Tabitha Ricci's been on a fucking little bit of a rocket there, moving herself up into the 10 spot over in the strawweight division. This fight is not where it belongs either. It belongs in the premier prelim or even onto the fucking main card at this point. These girls have fucking earned it. You want to introduce somebody into MMA and say, hey, here's a fight to tune into? You want to learn about women's MMA? This is a fight. This is going to be a great fucking fight to watch. And there's no fucking coverage on it anywhere. Why? They're both in the top 15 and no fucking coverage. Neither one of them bitches is on Embedded. What the fuck are they doing? What is the UFC doing with their life? Who is in charge of their fucking putting the word out there when there's something this good going on that does have a lot of implications in that division? Because this is going to send one of those girls up the charts, and the other one is just going to sit where the fuck they are. I don't think either one of them have a lot to lose out of this fight, but they both have a ton to gain.
I love that you put that out there, TJ. I totally agree with you there. It's definitely underhyped, and it definitely, both of those ladies definitely have some potential and definitely have some shit to gain. And I don't think there's a lot to lose for them. I really like that fact, though. I think you touched on it. The women's side of shit. This is just good points. Good points from the both of you. Close round, tough round. Let's move on to round 3, though. We'll move on back to TJ. You just finished off that round. You're going to start up the next one. Talk about the co-main event. Tommy Aspinall versus Ivan Drago himself, Sergey Pavlovich. How the fucking hell do you think this fight's going to play out this weekend? What are you expecting out of this, TJ?
You know, this fight, I expect a lot out of. And by that, I mean a very short fight. Neither one of these guys make it out of the first round. You have the shortest time in octagon in Tom Aspinall. The second shortest time in octagon in Sergey Pavlovich currently. Both of them are finishing fights in the first fucking round. Under 3 minutes. We don't see this get out of the first round. I'm pretty sure between the boxing of both of them, somebody's going to sleep. This is a tall task for the both of them. Everybody is talking about how scary Sergey Pavlovich is. Everybody looks at Tom Aspinall. Oh, he's such a friendly Englishman. No, that's a scary motherfucker. Tom Aspinall, yeah, he's a nice guy, but he's a scary sumbitch. Have you watched any of his fights saying, oh, he's just a nice Englishman? No, you haven't, obviously. Both of those dudes are fucking scary. I want to say I want to root for the American here, but there's no fucking American. Because I can't root against fucking Ivan Drago if there's no fucking American. I can in Tom Aspinall. I don't know from what we've seen out of how scary Sergey Pavlovich is. that Tom Aspinall can pull it off. He's got great boxing. He really does. That's why he's putting people on their asses and knocking them out. Sergey Pavlovich seems like a different fucking animal completely. He's that dude where you need to hit him with a corked baseball bat in order to put his ass out. I don't know that Tom Aspinall has that corked baseball bat. You might even need a fucking lead pipe to put that dude out. In my opinion, he's right now at the trajectory that Sergey is going. He has the trajectory to be one of the greatest Russian fighters of all time. Because I don't look at fucking Islam or fucking Khabib as Russian fighters. They're Dagestani fighters. They're not Russian fighters. Sergey is a fucking Russian. When I think big, mean Russian who runs the fucking mob, I think Sergey fucking Pavlovich. That's the kind of Russian you don't want to fuck with, who will drink you under the table and then go out and have a fight in the fucking morning while he's still drinking and still kill the other guy. Tom Aspinall, I'm rooting for him. I'm not going to lie. I'm rooting for Tom. I like Tom. I like his attitude. He's the kind of person you want to see become champ. But I don't think he gets it done. I think Sergey fucking puts him away in the first round under 3 minutes. Just because those two boys are going to fucking bang. Or the other weird outlier, because they both know they can kill each other, we're going to get a repeat of Ngannou fucking Derek Lewis, where nobody throws a punch for fucking 5 rounds, which would be really fucking weird. But that's going to be the one interim title fight that I guarantee will not get out of the fucking first round. And Sergey Pavlovich, I think, gets it via knockout. There's just something about that scary motherfucker that I just don't know that Tom can do it. I'm rooting for Tom, though. I want to make that very clear. But I do like Sergey. Sergey Pavlovich fucking seems like a great family man, even though he's a scary son of a bitch.
I like the answer. Man. I mean, I feel the same way. I'm rooting for Tom. Like I said on the contender spot, he is a contender for me. I think he's athletic as hell, and he's got a good chance. But hey, that's a scary motherfucker. A cork baseball bat. I'd rather go in with a fucking double barrel shotgun. I'm gonna make sure I get the double tap. I'm getting that fucking shit done. We ain't fucking around with that.
I agree 100% with that. I don't even think I'd swing a baseball bat at him just out of safety for myself.
He'll fucking grab the baseball bat right as you swing it, and just snap it in his fucking hand, and then you're dead.
No hitting dingers there.
All right, so what you got, brother? There, co-main event: Tom Aspinall versus Sergey Pavlovich. What are you thinking goes down, Meter? You on the same page as TJ there? Or you swinging?
No. So, as much as I would love to think that this is going to be 2 giant fucking monsters coming in here, fucking Godzilla style, just destroying Tokyo and leaving fucking carnage in their wake, I have also been paying attention this year. And every single time we have had one of these fights where it's, oh my God, he's going to get blown out of the fucking water, we end up with our head in our fucking hands. And I think this is going to be kind of like if you watched last week's replay with the high contrast color adjusted all the way to the other side. So the guys are a little bit lighter than they were last week, but I feel like the fight is going to be almost fucking identical. I feel like the giant in Drago is going to be that thick-necked, no-quit motherfucker, but we've got the taller, lankier Tommy Aspinall in our vanilla Jailton Almeida of this scenario here, who is just going to throw Sergey Pavlovich to fuck around and dodge as he throws giant winging fucking punches that would take down buildings but won't fucking connect. And we're going to end up with a 5-round kind of disappointing but understandable, not quite Lewis versus Ngannou-esque, but more Lewis versus Almeida-esque, where Tommy is well-rounded enough to be able to get out of fucking Sergey's bull charge way and then still keep up. But again, Pavlovich has a head made of fucking tank steel and a chin to go with it. So I don't think he's going out, but I also don't think he's got the skills to stop Tommy. I think Tommy's going to do a lot of running and a lot of dancing, a lot of top control on the bottom, but I don't think we see a finish. I think Tommy takes this by decision because we go the full 25 with it.
I'm really fucking surprised by that answer, but I love the explanation. It's like I'm saying, Tommy's young, he's fucking athletic as hell. So I mean, that might just be the right fucking game plan to just fucking out move that motherfucker and out wrestle that motherfucker, and fuck the Rocky moment. Let's not try to take the damage. Yeah, that's probably exactly how Tom is going to operate, man. And like every fight that we've seen him in, he's got pretty damn good defense, and he normally doesn't take a lot of shots. Like he very seldom shots he's taken in his UFC career so far. Like the answers for sure. So this shit's getting tight, man. This is a close one. It's pulling us on into round 4 here. Now we're talking about the cherry on top of the sundae, as you would. The new main event. I mean, we had a main event. We had John Jones versus Stipe Miocic, and this main event was the co-main event. But I mean, when you lose some shit, I guess things worked out pretty well. I'm excited about that Aspinall and Pavlovich fight. The interim title aspect of it's bull, but it gives it 5 rounds, so that's a good co-main event when you got to move shit up. This main event, Yuri Prochazka versus Alex Pereira for the light heavyweight title. Man, I'm excited for it. I want to hear what you boys got. So this starts you off, Meter. What do you think's going to happen this weekend in this main event?
So I think this is the one where all the fireworks are going to play off, and not necessarily because of the abilities of either one of these gentlemen, but because of the stylistic matchup. Alex Pereira is undoubtedly one of the greatest kickboxers on the planet. There's a reason that he was the 3rd ever person inducted into the Glory Kickboxing Hall of Fame. There's only 3 for a fucking reason. They do not give those fucking things away. You go back and you can look. Alex Pereira has a fucking undeniable kickboxing record. On the other side of that, he carried most of that style over to the UFC in his MMA career. So he's very much a dangerous kickboxer, but it's just that he's a very kickboxing heavy styled fighter. And then you look at Prochazka. Prochazka, you cannot define him as having a style. The only thing you can say is he is a crazy Bushido warrior, because that dude is the definition of unorthodox. He uses Bobby Green style weird timing. He uses Tony Ferguson style crazy kicks out of nowhere. And he's got the submission game of a Jailton Almeida. He is a very well-rounded and total fucking problem in the world of MMA. The biggest thing that's going to make the factor for this fight, in my opinion, is the fact that Alex Pereira, despite all of his great kickboxing knowledge, fights with his fucking hands at his waist. In a kickboxing fight, I can understand that you have a little more time, a little more room to read the shots coming in. But in the world of MMA, we have seen time and time again that strategy only works few times and far between. And against a guy like Yuri Prochazka, who thrives in those odd timings, that unconventional striking style, those times are going to be very less few and much fewer in between. I think Prochazka just has the style to get around Pereira. I don't think we see this one go to the second. I think Yuri takes his belt back in the first.
Damn. That was bold prediction, Cotton. I mean, I like it. I could see either guy, in all honesty, getting a fucking finish right at the beginning. This is one of those fights that I feel like that's what makes it exciting. You can see the instant finish, just like with the co-main event, or you could actually see a 5-round fucking kind of battle and war. So, we'll move us on over to the other side. What do you think, TJ? This main event, Yuri Prochazka versus Alex Pereira for the light heavyweight title. What do you think's gonna happen?
I'm going to start with this. This is a much better main event than Stipe and fucking Jones would have ever been. We already know what would have happened in that fight. Doesn't fucking matter. We're going to see it in whether we like it or not, but here we are. If you're going to replace a main event, this is the main event to do it in. My only question for this main event is, where are you at, though? Jamal Hill still sitting on the sidelines. This should be a Yuri and Jamal fight. That's all I'm saying. That fight was one that I'm stoked about, and I really hope it fucking happens, no matter fucking what. But we know they're going to give Jamal the next fucking shot at this, whoever fucking wins, which understandably so. But going on to the whole end of being a vacated, well, not vacated currently, Jamal is still the fucking champ until this fight takes place. Once that bell rings, he's stripped. Somebody's getting a vacant title. Yuri's already won this title in this division. Alex won a title already, but in a lower division. He's come up a weight class, and they fast-tracked him here. They really fucking fast-tracked him. They didn't make him fight any of the big light heavyweights. Not any. So, here we are. We got Alex Pereira and fucking Yuri Prochazka. They made him fight Jan Blachowicz, who we've seen. Polish Power has obviously left the fucking building, unfortunately, and I really like fucking Jan Blachowicz. Great fucking fighter. Was a fantastic champ. But we get this instead. Yuri coming back after his fucking injury. First fight back for a title. Deservedly so. He willingly vacated the title as to not hold up the division. Like a great fucking champion should. This is a war that Meter did knock on the head. This is a war of weird fucking contrasting styles. Big time. Yuri Prochazka, how the fuck do you train for that guy? How? When you look at him, you go, oh, I need to get some guys to emulate him in camp. Who the fuck's going to emulate that? You don't. You don't emulate a spinning back elbow against the fence. It doesn't fucking work. Because somebody throws that in the fucking training room, somebody's getting kicked out of the gym. You can't emulate the shit that he does. Alex Pereira, fantastic kickboxer. But he has the same game plan every fucking fight we've seen so far. It doesn't matter what fighter's in front of him. We've seen the same Alex Pereira. Yeah, he beat Izzy with that style. But then Izzy countered him, played the rope-a-dope game, and fucking kapow. Yuri has a lot more tape on Alex than Alex probably has on Yuri that's going to be helpful. I'm saying that's going to be helpful for a reason. Doesn't matter how much fucking tape you have on Yuri. None of it is going to be helpful. It's going to show you, yeah, he's fucking weird. He does some crazy shit. Weird body movements. He'll have his hands down sometimes. Sometimes they're up. He throws from weird angles. I honestly see this fight going a little deeper. I don't see it ending in the first. I think between the striking prowess of both of them, they're both going to have to play a little defense. We're going to see a little longer feeling out. I think we get about 3 minutes into the first round before heavier shots start going. We'll see some light taps just to judge range and shit like that, but I don't see anything fucking crazy happening in the first round. I think the crazy shit happens in about the third. I think that second round is where we're going to see that fucking teeter-totter table one way or another. And the only thing that I say that makes me tilt on this fight a little bit is how much power we know Alex Pereira has. Because he's got a fucking ton of power in those hands. And not wearing kickboxing gloves, that translates very well. But also, those fucking elbows that Yuri throws from weird angles and the weird shots, Alex is going to have to be on the lookout. He hasn't fought anybody with that kind of really odd style. Don't get me wrong. The style bender has an odd style, but it is not Yuri odd style. Like, Yuri is his own fucking category of weird. Like, he makes every other fighter on their roster look like they fight normal, even if they're fucking unorthodox. So where I see this going is around the middle of the third, beginning of the fourth. I think we see Yuri take out Alex. And it's going to be some sort of spectacular fashion. Because Yuri is another one of those fighters that, look, they brought him out of they pulled him off to a different company. Nobody thought he was going to be all that great, and he's turned out to be one of the greatest fucking additions to the UFC roster that we've gotten. He's just weird enough, and I say that in a nice way. Like, you can tell he's a really nice guy, but he is cut from a different fucking cloth. So I think he takes him out mid to late third, early fourth, and we see Yuri Prochazka get on that mic. And as I started with, yell, "Where are you at, doe?" Maybe he'll yell, "I'm coming. Where you at, doe?" Maybe we'll get a little repeat of what was going on Instagram about a year ago. Let it fucking happen. But it's going to be fucking great either way. And to be honest, even that prediction can fucking change, because both of those guys do have knockout power. But I think Yuri's weirdness is what's going to get him the W in this. Until somebody has a way to figure him out, he's going to be a tough guy to beat.
I like it. I like the answer. I really fucking agree with you too. I really want to see that Jamal Hill fight versus Yuri. I think Yuri's leaning, for me personally, I think I'm leaning Yuri, more. And I kind of agree that weird style and shit. But they've both been fast tracked. You mentioned that Alex has been fast tracked. This is like Yuri's fourth fight in the UFC. It'll be his second title fight. That's already fucking insane. He fought twice. Boom. You get in the title fight, becomes champ. Now you're getting that opportunity now that he's healthy. And fucking, this is what, Alex's seventh fight in the UFC? Crazy. Crazy situation. But yeah, I want to see that Jamal Hill fight for sure. Like both of your boys' answers. Like I said, this has been a close back and forth. Like we said, though, we're in close scoring, so no matter what, we're guaranteed a fifth round. So I'm pretty sure Meter has his book of notes.
Absolutely.
So we started off with TJ, right? So do you want to choose the number, or do you want to answer first? Again, TJ, for this round 5.
I say I leave it to Siri to choose a number. What numbers do you got on the board? How many?
6.
6. Siri, pick a number between 1 and 6.
That would be 3.
There you go. Hopefully you heard that one.
Yep.
Remember to unmute her this time.
And I'll go first since you went first through the regular questions. But before we get into the post-it note of doom round 5, I do want to take a quick moment here and give everybody the full fight menu rundown for the weekend. So in case you're wondering, it is not just the UFC going on this weekend, not by any stretch of the imagination. We have all kinds of punchy kicky to look forward to this weekend. So as is normally the case, first thing tomorrow morning in a couple hours for all you fucking sun worshipping lizards, 1 Friday Night Fights, because they're on the other side of the world, number 40, kicks off at 6:30 a.m. Central Time. Ugh. This is another one of those true MMA, multiple discipline mixed martial arts, 2 MMA matches, 10 Muay Thai fights on this card. So this is one, if you want to get some fights in first thing in the morning, they're going to be ready for you over on 1. Then tomorrow evening, kicking off at 7 p.m. Central Time, Game Bred Bare Knuckle, Roy Nelson versus Alan Belcher. The casual fan will still recognize nearly every single name on this roster. This is going to be a very interesting experiment. George Masvidal has gotten very creative in his matchmaking on this bare knuckle side of things here. This card is probably the best one that they have put together yet. So if you need some fights Friday night, Masvidal's got you covered over on Game Bred. Kicking off first thing Saturday morning to start you out bright and early, 11:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. Cage Warriors kicking off over at the O2 from London. There are a bunch of names that the casual fan will recognize on this one. The hardcores are probably going to know everybody on this card. This is another one. Some of these names are from the UFC, and some of these names are trying to make their way to the UFC. So this isn't going to be a bad card to watch either. Following immediately up on that, kicking off at noon Central Standard Time, KSW 88 from over in Poland, another one of the great European feeder organizations. This is one of those the casuals are not going to know a lot of names on there, but there are a couple that you will recognize. The hardcores will probably know about a half a dozen of these. There are several ex-UFC fighters on this card, and several folks, again, trying to get to the UFC through this card. So it's going to be another one to another good one to watch in the afternoon Saturday. But then Saturday evening brings what we are all waiting for, kicking off at 5 p.m. Central Standard, the early prelims of UFC 295, Prochazka versus Pereira. We have got all the UFC goodies going down this weekend. So, that being said, round 5. Who puts on the first fight in Africa?
That's a good one.
So, if you would have asked me this question 6 months ago, the answer wouldn't even take a split second to come up with, and it would have been PFL, because they were entering all that Francis Ngannou hoopla. They're talking about all the money they've got. Now they're talking about potentially buying Bellator. And that would have been a great answer. Except we are now in the tail end of 2023 in what is probably the craziest era of MMA we have had in a long fucking time. And as strange as it sounds, I think realistically, the first person, or the first company rather, that's going to be able to put on a fight in Africa is going to be BKFC. They have got BKFC Mexico. They have got BKFC Europe. They have got BKFC Asia. They are now officially looking to start BKFC Africa. They already have a prospect series, which is their contender series for BKFC, scheduled in Africa. They are actively making footprints in Africa to try and get a bare knuckle fight there. I'm not saying that Mike Perry getting signed is what made this happen, but I'm telling you, the best black fighter in the world now works for BKFC, and I think they're going to Africa with him.
I like it. That's a hell of a fucking answer. I don't think too many people would have expected that one, but that's good shit. All right, TJ, what do you think? Who do you think is most likely, put on the first fight in Africa? That's a hell of a fucking question. Good round 5.
I was on that same boat with Meter, as in I thought it was going to be PFL with the way that they were hyping Ngannou. But now with Ngannou doing boxing, which I think we don't see fucking Francis fight in the PFL this year or this coming year, 2024, at all. Because there's way too much money on the table, and they're just letting him do his own thing, knowing that he's on the roster and they can use that for promotion. That's good enough for the PFL at this point. And honestly, who the fuck are they going to put him in the cage with? That's worth a damn over there. They don't have anybody. So it's not going to be PFL. Now, with that question, that's a very, very loose fucking question of promotion. That can mean boxing. That can mean bare knuckle. That can mean MMA. It can mean all of them. So technically, we're not winning this. If we want to adjust this, there's already been boxing in Africa. Big name boxing in Africa. But we will keep it in my mindset of the MMA community. I still don't think it's the PFL. One finally started moving into the US because of Demetrius Johnson. Because big fucking name, big draw in the US. Makes perfect sense. To be honest, I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to go with the UFC for this reason. They have gyms open up all over the world. They've been in China. They fought in fucking Australia. They've been all over France. They're the second promotion to go into France. Unfortunately, they got beat out by Bellator because, the UFC can't get their shit right and get things in order for that one. But they still have plenty of African fighters that are doing well in the UFC, even though a couple of their kingpins seem to be getting their asses kicked lately, and Kamaru Usman and fucking the Style Bender, who have fucking just apparently fallen off, which it happens. I get it. But with both of those two on the sidelines now, because Usman just fought and Stylebender is taking time off, what a better time to get Stylebender back on the roster and fighting, and Usman a fight at home, than to say, hey, let's make a card in Africa. You guys, main, co-main. Fucking, as I'm sure Stylebender comes back, he's going to get an immediate fucking title shot. Deservedly so. One of the longest reigning fucking title holders outside of Anderson Silva. It makes perfect sense to me. With those two big fucking names, how could you not take your promotion there, knowing that there's going to be a huge backing behind them? So I got to give it to the UFC on that one.
I like it. I like it. So tally shit up here after 5 fucking rounds. I think we've got us. Oh man, this is gonna be tough. Okay, so here's meter. Lost the first couple rounds. Won 3 and 4. Give you a 10 on the 5. Golf T won the first couple. I'm giving him a 10 on the 5. I just couldn't help it. That last round there, you both had such good answers. For Golf T's side of things, I did like the point that he gave some MMA, right? But at the same time, the question didn't specify MMA. It just said, fighting. Who's going to put on the first fight in Africa? And yes, we've seen some boxing and shit, but bare knuckle, would definitely be some fights. So I would love to see some bare knuckle. And that Mike fucking Perry point. Just the thought that Mike Perry's helped bare knuckle be able to put on shows in Africa. And you're probably damn fucking right. But yeah, I loved it. I love both the fucking answers. It was good shit throughout, close battle. It's hard to fucking edge it one way or another. So that 5th round, just 10-10. Calling it a draw.
I'll take a majority draw.
I'll take it.
It was a fucking good battle between you boys tonight.
Good shit. Good shit. I'll take a draw for sure. There we go. All right. And with that being said, that is going to be all we've got for this particular episode. Good match, Golf T. Thank you to everyone who tuned in, whether you are catching this live Thursday nights, 9:30-ish Central Standard Time, or the week after in the all audio format through Anchor.fm/I'm No Joe, and your audio consumption platform of choice. We appreciate you just the same. That is going to be all we've got for this particular episode. So remember, if you do like what we get up to around here, please make sure you give us a thumbs up and you're subscribed with your notifications turned on, whatever platform you're picking this up in. We appreciate you. On the other side of that coin, if you don't like what we get up to around here, first and foremost, what the fuck are you still doing this deep into a podcast you didn't enjoy? Give us the thumbs down and then go fuck yourself. We won't even dispute it. That being said, when things wrap up around here, that's not the end of the fun, because tomorrow night and pretty much every Friday morning, that gentleman right over there it goes over there, and his other half throughout their podcast, the Slow Bake and Contemplate podcast over on Spreaker. Links for that and their socials down in the description, as well as the link to their very own channel on the I'm No Joe Discord server. Hop in, say hi, let them know what's up.
Appreciate you, brother. Shit doesn't fucking stop there. I mean, once you get through the weekend, we get into the next week, best day of the week, hump day. You got to make sure you tune into the brother TJ's show, Foggy Fairway. Around the same time we do our show, about 9 o'clock, 9:30 every Wednesday night. You tune into Golf T Vapes on YouTube. We pop in, show the brother some love. You learn some new mixes. Have some fun shit. If you're into vapes, you learn some good shit. And make sure you tune in. Show the brother Golf T Vapes some love every Wednesday night.
Hey, sir. Now, for those of you who aren't aware, outside of just kicky punchies, Meter, he does more than one thing. In fact, he does many things. So if you go right down below, there's a little link that says Linktree / the Meter does many things. There's also, you can use Linktree / I'm No Joe. That will take you to all of the many things that the Meter does do. Go find out for yourself what those other things are that he does do outside of kicky punchies. You won't regret it.
Thank you very much, sir. Much appreciated. With that said, that is all we've got for this particular episode, so we are going to call that a wrap. Thank you, everyone who tuned in, whether you're listening or watching. We appreciate you just the same. So remember, until next time, boys and girls, don't let ignorance stop you. You can root for anything. Unless it's more Taylor Swift coverage during the fucking Chiefs game. Stop it!
Everybody was kung fu fighting. Those kicks were fast as lightning. In fact, it was a little bit frightening. How do I say goodbye to what we had? The good times.